Well, guys, when you're in this business of running for politics, especially when you're not a politician, you get thrown a lot of curved balls. Right now, Lewis is headed to all the counties in California because all of a sudden there's some kind of new application that you forgot to, fill out, and you got to probably pay us $29.85. There's probably a number like that associated with it, or maybe $129.85. And so he just found out about this. So he said, "Hey, I can't do the podcast because I'm traveling." I said, "Why don't we do it while you're traveling? Because it adds to your story." Tell us the story about the scam, about some application that you got to fill out. Otherwise, you're not allowed to run for governor of California.
Well, it's a lot deeper than that, actually. What the system seems to be really set up for anybody that's not an establishment person, you're not welcome. So in the establishment, there's actually a whole economy of people that you can hire to make sure that you get on a ballot for, $40,000. So it's not made for somebody that is an anti-establishment guy, somebody that doesn't want to play the games, right? So what they do is they make it very, very, very hard. So initially, if we step back in June, I had to file with the Secretary of State special financial disclosures, so on and so forth, get approval, get them to jump through some hoops to get on a bank account. And then the Secretary of State didn't even put me on their website. They go, "No, we're here. Everything seems fine." And it wasn't. Finally, a whole bunch of people on my behalf called and raised some hell. And then they put me on there. And I finally got my number and so on and so. So we thought everything was clean. And then we discovered that we also had to file locally within our county, Ventura County, which is fine. So we did that. I jumped through all those hoops, but there's only a small window you can do that. I believe it's February 13th through March 6th. So we did it, I think, on February 18th.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they said that you can go get 6,000 signatures and pay a small fee, or you can get 65 signatures and pay almost $5,000. Well, uh, with that such a short timeline to do that, we opted to just pay the $5,000 and get the 65 signatures, which was easy. But because of our travels, we got the signatures in multiple counties. So when we went to go, and we have a lot more than 65, we have tons of them, right? Because we've also been told that they're gonna X out a lot of signatures, which they do. That's all right. So we thought we had everything nailed. I'm proactive, so I said I'm going to turn everything in 2 days ahead of time just in case there's any messes. We get down to the county yesterday, and they informed us that, oh no, you can't turn in all your signatures to the county. You have to turn them into individual counties where you got the signatures. You go, wow, that's going to be fun. So we're driving around to several counties today, dropping off signatures. That's, it is what it is at this point. But yesterday was fascinating. So it was more paperwork to fill out, more paperwork to fill out. This hoop was thrown in front of us. We jumped through it. This red tape strangled us around our neck. We had to remove that red tape. But then it got really, really weird. So when it come down to declarations, they said, "What's your designation?" And I said, "Troubleshooter, business troubleshooter." "Oh, we don't know if we can accept that. Do you have proof? Can you get us proof within the next day that you're a troubleshooter?" And I said, "How does proof look for a troubleshooter? How exactly does that look?" Right? And they didn't really have any answer. I go, "Okay, how about business consultant, documentarian?" No, we don't have those designations. But if you can show us proof, and I go, "What does proof look like?" "Well, you'd have to have like a paycheck or a contract with somebody, and then we'd have to verify it." I go, "Can you verify that in 48 hours?" "Probably not." I go, "So you're saying I have to just take doctor, lawyer, or whatever the BS that you supply?" "Yes, pretty much it." I go, "Okay, let's leave it blank." "You sure?" I go, "Yeah." It actually works to my advantage because on the ballot now, you're going to see more white space around my name. And if anybody understands marketing, white space always wins the day, right? So that works to my advantage. But then what I thought was fascinating is we I saw something on the paperwork themselves, and I asked a question. So ironically, when you go in there, they ask for they need proof of your last 10 years of whatever your political affiliation is, right? And which I don't know why that's any of their business, frankly, to run. And for the 8 years, I've gotten away. I found a loophole where I didn't have to put a little political affiliation because I just didn't fill out the box, and they always put me as unknown, which is perfect. That's about as sovereign as you can get, right? So I was unknown. He didn't know what to do with that. And then he said, so when you're putting on your ballot, make sure you put unknown. I said, wait a second. So it's going to say unknown under my name? Yeah, I go, no, that doesn't even make sense. Because when I applied financially, when I applied over here in Ventura, I put NPP, non-party preference. There's a reason why it's non-party preference. If you put unknown, you're going to freak people out on a ballot. They're going to go, he's unknown? What's that all about, right? So I said, no, that doesn't even make sense. He goes, well, let me check with my boss. Checked with his boss. He said, yeah, he's going to be a known. And what it comes down to is they got very forceful. Well, we make all the decisions in Ventura County. I go, no, you need to call the Secretary of State. Secretary doesn't make those decisions, right? We make them here. So we went back and forth. Anyways, finally it came down to it, and I gave enough convincing argument that didn't that make sense. Guess what they did? They called the Secretary of State. So they played tough, like, no, we make the decisions here. But then they were so confused, they called, and the Secretary of State said exactly what I said. No, he's going to be an NPP on the ballot, regardless if he was unknown or, Green Party or whatever previously. So they were trying to get this, Mel, they were trying to get me to re-register, and then I would have had for NPP as a registration, and then scratch all the paperwork that I did in February and reapply all that paperwork with the fees in order to get NPP on the ballot. Those are the types of things that we were dealing with just yesterday alone.
Wow. Well, this is just going to add to your list of people you might have to arrest because they're incompetent or get them out of their job and tell them to go do something else for a living when you do get elected. But does something happen in Texas that you want to talk about? I know you
Yeah,
sent me a thing to retweet. It had 24 retweets when I got to it. I put it on over 100 Telegram groups. All of our administrators jumped on it, and I told everybody to just put it out there all over the ether on Telegram. And you grew quite some legs on it. I think it's over 5,000 retweets at this point.
yeah. The post I think it has about 100,000 views, and that's just on X. Where it's blowing up on Facebook and all over the place. So what happened is we got a call, my wife and I, from a friend that's in Texas, and we have somebody in every state that reports to us, right? It's very
Hmm.
important. So she reports in Texas. She went to and she voted in Collin County. I forgot what the name of the precinct was. Anyways, she voted and she went there, and it's very interesting. When she went out, she says there was a cop and there was a lady that was telling everybody, yelling at everybody, go, Democrats, you go in this line over to the left. Republicans, you go into this line to the right, and then you enter the building based on the line that you're in. And I said, wait a second, that's immediately disenfranchised of the voter, and people are very uncomfortable in line because now you're with your neighbors, and now they know whether you're a Democrat or Republican, right?
Of
Part of
course.
our election process constitutionally is we're supposed to be able to keep our anonymity.
Right.
And so I said, this is crazy. I said, what happens when you go in? She goes, when you go in, you select you press a button and it determines you to say if whether I'm Democrat or Republican. It is a primary, so they're allowed to separate it, but you don't publicly separate it. They're supposed to go in and then they say, here's your Democratic ballot or here's your Republican ballot after you get in. So it's absolutely disenfranchised. And the Republican line was 4 or 5 times longer than the Democrat line. So you can imagine people are going to leave that line. And that's more disenfranchised because it should go 1 1 1 1 1 1 based on nothing except the next person in the line. Should do nothing with your party, whether you get in sooner or you get in later. So that's more disenfranchised. There was an old guy that waited in the Democrat line because he had no idea. He got into the building and they sent him to the back of the Republican line afterwards. And it's so funny because it's been going viral, and a few people are screaming, "You don't know the way the primary works in Texas." I go, no, you guys don't understand the Constitution. It doesn't matter whether they've been doing it wrong for a year, 2 years, or 10 years. It's still wrong and it's still illegal. Yes, a primary is Democrat and Republican in Texas. Absolutely understand that. But it is not a disenfranchisement of the voter. They're supposed to go into the table, then you get your ballot at the table. So it doesn't matter how many people are in line, they're all treated equal and they don't know what people's political views are. So this is crazy. So they were reported. We called the sheriffs with no, I was told that there was nothing that they did about it whatsoever. And we thought this was just one county. Then when the post came out, we heard it happened in Houston. There's shenanigans in Dallas. And we got some information back from a group that's been investigating elections in Texas to verify that there's some major fraud that happened overnight. So we're going to dig into that and see what that was.
Interesting. Now, have you done any face-offs with Mr. Chad Bianco? I know you were talking about there was going to be some kind of a debate about a couple of weeks ago. Did that ever happen? Did he ever show to the party?
Yeah, so we did a debate with Chad and Hilton in Garden Grove a little while ago.
Okay, how did that turn out?
Not good for them. Great for me, though.
I love it. You know, it seems like that all the mainstream media is for all the criminals, and all the alternative media people and the people who run channels like myself is for you. So you're equally as dangerous because collectively, I think we're more powerful than they are. If you can ever get into the good graces of mainstream media, I don't think the Chad Biancos of the world have a chance.
No, I don't think so. We're getting so much momentum. We've just had some huge interviews. We did the largest radio station in Los Angeles for talk radio just interviewed us. That's a huge get for us. We had I won't say the name right now, but I think his combined viewership's over like 1.2 million. He just had a sit down interview. That interview is going to come out shortly. We have some mainstream that's kind of are twisting their arm. It looks like they're going to have to cave in, and we have some really, really big stuff coming up. I can tell you though, and I can't give you details. I will tell you though, we were scheduled to do a very big interview with somebody of some major influence, and he got a call from our opponents, and they said they wanted to take his questions away and put their own questions for me on there, which is wacky as heck. He said, no way. And then they offered him $25,000 to cancel the interview.
$25,000 to cancel what?
An interview with me.
What?
They didn't want him to interview.
Holy moly. Now,
That
I
should
know,
tell you a lot.
yeah, I know that there are some, is maybe one of the big names by any chance, if you're allowed to say, maybe off camera, you'll tell me if you can't tell me on camera, but as
I
maybe
can tell you off camera.
Patrick,
It's not something we want to make public.
is Patrick Bet
we don't
David coming
want
after
to
you yet or
jeopardize
no?
any- If you know what I mean, because it's
Yeah,
a lot more sinister
Is
than people
Patrick,
can imagine.
yeah, is Patrick Bet David from PBD coming after you yet? Because he's originally from California.
No, people have reached out to him on my behalf, and he's a maybe. I'll just say that right now.
He's a
He's
what?
in Florida now. He's a maybe to interview me. He's in Florida now.
Oh yeah, I know he's in Florida. He's right in my backyard, down the street here, about 2 hours south in Fort Lauderdale. I think that would be a great interview for you, even though he's getting the numbers. He's getting, 6, 7, 800,000 views on a good video.
Right.
But even though he knows he's being stifled, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, you understand the straw man, I'm sure. I don't think I have to explain that to you, correct?
Absolutely. Capital letters, baby.
Right. So, a lot of people think that this is, hogwash. They think that, it's not true, whatever. But I wanted to play the trailer for you of the movie that's coming out. What do you do? What are you going to do day one when you take over California because obviously we have literally hundreds of millions of dollars. We're each worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and we know that the money's there. My wife paid a bill, which is in the movie, and we actually show the receipt, redacted, but the receipt is in the movie. And 4 days later, after the receipt was good, and thank you for the payment, your payment was successful, and all of a sudden it wasn't successful anymore. So what do you intend to do to try to get the people's money back?
Well, the key first is we have to get from the inside if we're going to take down this structure that we've been under for so long. And
Right,
it's very, very important. A lot of
right.
people think we can do this from the outside, and maybe we can, but I don't see the people standing up big enough to get it done. So I'd like to get on the inside, tear things down to the foundation, the way the Constitution, both of them, the United States Constitution, the California Constitution was formed, get
Right.
back to those principles, and then we will no longer be a captured individual.
Do you think there could be a very aggressive successful plan to return our money? This is money that they've made from our fishing license, hunting license, parking ticket, speeding ticket, marriage license, divorce license. Everything's a bond. Everything gets traded, and they're getting interest on top of interest on top of interest. Do you think that there's a way to get that money back when you are in office? And do you think that we could push Donald Trump to do it on a national level that everybody could get their money back? So I think that would be a great way to take this country back, because if we're all worth hundreds of millions of dollars, then now you've created the biggest wealth class in the history of the world. Not only that, but now, the cabal has big fish to fry, let's say, right?
So there's two things to look at. One is what you're talking about is how we are being traded
Right.
without our approval, right? That's one thing. The other thing in regards to the fees, there is an avenue that we can approach right now if we want to do it collectively. Because remember, I think the biggest SCOTUS decision in the last 40 years was the overturning of the Chevron deference decision from
Right.
1984. That directly counters all the fees that we've been dinged about from NGOs and governments over the last 40 years. So
Okay.
that's the approach I would use with this. And remember, this is something I think people miss. President Trump has been saying for several years, legal and lawful. Okay, legal is working inside the corporate cabal structure, and lawful is working outside of it in our
Common
sovereign
law.
life. Exactly. Or
Got it.
natural God's law, common law. So I believe we have to go hit it at both angles at the same time. I believe that's the solution. So
Yeah.
personally, I would go, because of the overturning of the Chevron deference, it's really opened the door for us to show that we've been illegally feed for 40
Right.
years.
Can you
We
guys
use
see my
that.
screen? Can you see my screen?
I see a black screen. Is that
There
what
you
it
go.
is right now?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me hit the play button. I'm about to tell you a story that is going to absolutely piss off a lot of people in the United States of America. What if everything you've ever known is a lie? Because I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we've been bamboozled in ways that you can't even imagine. From the creator who dared to question everything in Dear Mr. President comes a revelation so explosive it will shatter your perception of reality. This is the biggest scam ever, and your government, it thinks that you are stupid.
And the whole fake system that is set up, it's all fake.
The straw man, the greatest heist in history. Before your first breath, a covert system claimed you a ghostly double made of paper, a financial slave in a world you can't even see.
The straw man. I am not that fucking straw man. That's not me. I am not all cap letters. I am me.
They've used your name as currency, trading your life in a game rigged from the start. Basically, when you're born, they put some little ink underneath your feet, and they give you the all caps name on your social security or social slave number, okay? And that's exactly what you are. That is your bond number. Every document, every signature, every debt is an elaborate illusion. You go get a marriage license, it's a bond. You get divorced, it's a bond. You get a driver's license, it's a bond. You get a fishing license, it's a bond. You get a hunting license, it's a bond. You get a ticket, that ticket gets traded. Driver's license, insurance, all of this nonsense. These are all bonds that are being traded in your name, and they're making billions and trillions of dollars. Once you know the truth, you hold the power to choose. The system will fight back. It will try to silence you, erase you. The choice is yours. It's pretty powerful, dude. I'm going to tell you right now, we are about to shake every foundation of every government building across this nation like it's going to be a category 10.10 earthquake. Seriously. It is going to be...
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be catastrophic. If this doesn't grow legs, I got to launch it at the right time because right now there's too much noise with the Iran war, this war, that war, all the bullshit.
Exactly right.
Right?
Yep, exactly.
And I got to picture, I got to figure out a way to launch it where people are like, okay, we won the war in Iran, we did this, we did that. Now, boom, now, the last time we got overshadowed by the shooting with Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to let that happen this time. This time I got to be very methodical. I'm going to launch the movie at the opening of the Junior Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral, which we're expecting at least 150 people or so. Ticket sales are slow. The economy is in the shitter. Right? There's no question about it. So I know that the economy is always booming in California, and I know under a Lewis Herms, it's going to be, even a homeless guy could become a billionaire once you take over, for sure.
Well, yeah, everybody just needs to be put on a fair playing field, and they're not.
Yeah.
That people have been stepping on the scales of the economy for a long time. I mean, it's funny. I thought there was a law against monopolies, but I guess maybe I'm wrong because it seems like every large company is a monopoly in the state of California.
Yep.
It's just disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it looks like you're definitely gaining a lot of traction. What are you doing to get out there besides going on? I see you on a lot of podcasts. I watched you on Nino just the other day. That was a great podcast. I know Nino's having you on there a lot, which we know that he's a patriot. Are you going to be, by the way, at 107 in Vegas?
Yes, I will be at that one. It's close enough, so I'm going to make that one.
Okay, well, you might see my ugly mug there. There's like a 90% chance I'm coming.
All right, or just send 90% of you. The other 10% can stay home.
Yeah, I wish. But anyway, so you're gaining a lot of traction. Are there any new podcasters that are on the horizon that you're going to be interviewed on that we don't know of? The people that are outside of our circles.
Yeah, actually, a ton. There's one that we just did who has a huge YouTube presence. I think he has just on YouTube alone. He has 700,000 followers.
Oh, cool.
It's going to come out. We've already recorded, but he takes about 2 weeks to pop stuff out. But that'll be out soon. But we have just a lot coming up. I think you're going to actually see us on some networks popping up that are very, very familiar with everybody.
Okay.
We're kind of putting them in a position where it's a must. And we have something that we're launching in regards to making elections transparent in California next week that are blowing people away. They're just blown away when they see it. So
yeah, I'm going to make sure. I'm going to make sure that my good friend Jerry Reed, who's in the movie, who's going to be at the Junior Summit, who you just saw in the. He said, "That's not me. I'm not the all big cap names, right?" He's out of Missouri. He's got 480,000 people that follow him on Facebook. I'm going to hook you two guys up, and if you guys know how to go live on camera on his channel, you could definitely do that, and I'm sure he'll accommodate you more than once.
Good. Well, I appreciate it because what's really going to put us over the top, in my opinion, is the podcasters. I'm not counting on the fake conservative news to do anything, although it looks like we're going to make a breakthrough there soon. It's the podcasters is where we're going to win the election.
Yeah.
And me keeping my butt on the campaign trail, which we've been doing. I think we did a bunch of events in the last few days, and now we're about ready to launch another tour, and we'll be going to all 58 counties within about 30 days. It's going to be epic.
Interesting. Guys, if you want tickets for the Quantum Summit, Quantum Summit 1776 tickets are still available. We're going to do it inside the actual healing center, the wellness center. You're going to be hit with a lot of frequency, which is going to be amazing. Stayingalive.com. Also, if you're in the area, stop by. Alive with two E's. And Carmine's Gold, carminesgold.com. You definitely want to get. Somebody actually just paid me yesterday in all silver, so I got to go. Put this in my hideout. I got a bunch of these little things, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody paid me for 2 months to stay in the system, all in silver. She goes, "Do you accept silver?" I said, "Absolutely."
Yeah, 100%.
Do I accept silver? That's a dumb question, right? So, yeah, we accept silver, we accept XRP, XLM, and gold. So, but anyway, you might make it down to the Quantum Summit. We're not sure yet, but if not, you'll make a cameo appearance via Zoom. That'll be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, anything we could do to support you, man. We love the fact that ordinary people that got cojones are finally stepping up to the plate and saying enough is enough. The bullshit is over right now. Let's get this party started. And you're one of those people in California, so we absolutely applaud you, my friend.
Appreciate you, Mel. Thank you for having me on also.
Thank you. And we'll talk real soon. I'm going to hold you over in case you want to tell me any little secrets. Guys, get this video out there everywhere. Don't stop until your fingers are bleeding. Thank you.